People died after the vessel sank. 240 were rescued. The Coast Guard says it had 251 passengers on board, leaving 7 still unaccounted for. The vessel's name is MV Mercraft 3. Rescue operations are ongoing. The incident comes as Mindanao and the Visayas brace for Tropical Storm Vinta, which is hovering off the coast off Surigao del Sur. Quezon Province, which is further north of Surigao on the same coastline, is not within the tropical storm's path. Earlier, our chief correspondent Pia Ontiveros spoke on the phone with one of the survivors. Judith Cierno says her 11-month-old child is alive, but she doesn't know yet if her husband's also among the survivors. She recounts how she managed to save her child.
Dilata ko po siya sa ibang tao para
Nagkahiwalay kayo. Okay.
Nalunod po kasi ako kaya pinasa ko siya.
Kanino mo siya hindi mo na alam, basta binigay mo?
Opo.
Okay. So, anong pakiramdam mo nung nagkita kayo ulit ng anak niyo?
Ako po, yung anak ko na po, iniisip ko na makakaya ko para sa anak ko. Kasi alam ko buhay yung anak ko eh.
Buti na lang Okay. So, paano kayo na-rescue?
Nung dumating po yung bangka, medyo lumayo kasi yung malaking alon. Kaya kahit nahirapan ako, pinilit ko ng mga ito.
Authorities say 218 rescued survivors are in Barangay Dinahican, while others are in Real. The mishap happened just as many Filipinos are traveling by land, sea, and air to their provinces for the holidays, and hoping to make it home before Tropical Storm Vinta hits the southern part of the country. Some parts of the Visayas and Mindanao have been preparing since yesterday for severe weather because of Vinta. Pag-asa forecasters say Vinta has strengthened and threatens the Caraga region. It was last located 130 kilometers east of Hinatuan, Surigao del Sur. Vinta is expected to make landfall somewhere in the province between late this evening or early tomorrow morning. The province is under signal number 2. So are Surigao del Norte, including the Siargao Islands, the Agusan provinces, Northern Davao Oriental, Compostela Valley, Davao del Norte, Bukidnon, Misamis Oriental, Camiguin, Lanao del Norte, Lanao del Sur, and Northern Zamboanga del Norte. Signal number 1 is hoisted over Dinagat Island, Misamis Occidental, North Cotabato, Maguindanao, the rest of Davao Oriental, Davao del Sur, Compostela Valley, Zamboanga del Sur, Zamboanga Sibugay, and the rest of Zamboanga del Norte. Residents in all affected areas should prepare for moderate to heavy rains that could trigger flooding and landslides. Those in Luzon should also be ready with their rain gear. The regions of Bicol, Mimaropa, Calabarzon, and the provinces of Aurora and Quezon will have scattered rains and thunderstorms. The northeast monsoon will bring scattered rains to Cagayan Valley and the Cordilleras, and isolated rains to the Ilocos region, the rest of central Luzon, and Metro Manila. Disaster management officials and residents along the path of Vinta are preparing for the tropical storm. Our May Rodriguez reports.
Local governments in northern Mindanao are preparing for the worst as Tropical Storm Vinta is expected to hit the region. Disaster officials have already met to assess the risks and make sure they are well coordinated to respond. The provincial capital is also on red alert status. In Bukidnon, officials are also conducting pre-disaster risk assessment in flood-prone villages, especially those along the Pulangi River. In the Visayas, all Roro buses and vessels from southern Cebu to Dumaguete City, Negros Oriental were not allowed to travel because of Vinta. In a briefing, Weather Bureau Pag-asa said Negros Oriental will experience gusts even if it's not directly in the path of the storm. Residents have also been alerted. Vinta is expected to affect Negros Oriental tomorrow afternoon until early morning of Saturday. Residents in the Yolanda housing site in Tacloban are also worried about the storm, although the city is not expected to take a direct hit. This is because New Hope Village was heavily flooded in the heavy rains over the weekend. Water overflowed in 2 creeks near the housing projects. Excavations at the housing site were also filled with water, claiming the life of a 3-year-old boy who drowned after falling into one. The boy's mother, Angeline Guilieno, asked the contractor to put signs or a barricade to mark the excavations. May Rodriguez, CNN Philippines.
With just 4 days left before Christmas and the long holiday weekend, navigation app Waze projects traffic tomorrow, December 22nd, will be at its worst. Let's check travelers flying in and out and around the country. Our CN Arcangel reports live from the IA Terminal 3. CN, how are things there right now?
Mitzi, with the workday over, more passengers are arriving here at the NAIA Terminal 1, but lines are still short at the entrance doors. Vehicles arrive and come and go, dropping off passengers taking overseas flights. Travelers can easily pass through the entrance doors as long as they have copies of their tickets and passports. We were not allowed to go inside Terminal 1, but we took a peek at the check-in counters where lines are not that long. With passenger arrivals expected to peak tomorrow, NAIA General Manager Ed Monreal has instructed employees to make sure all counters are manned. He also directed managers of Terminals 2, 3, and 4 to coordinate with domestic carriers regarding possible flight cancellations due to Typhoon Vinta. Mitzi?
Thank you, CN Arcangel, reporting to us there live from the IA Terminal 3. More local stories later in the show. Now, here are some top stories from around the world. In Australia, a car plowed into Christmas shoppers outside Melbourne's popular Flinders Street station, shutting down the center of Australia's second largest city. 18 people were injured, including at least one child. Police say the driver of the car had a history of drug use and mental health issues. While authorities are calling the incident a deliberate act, there is no evidence of a link to terrorism. Flinders Street is one of Melbourne's busiest pedestrian roads. U.S. Ambassador to the United Nations Nikki Haley warns that the United States will take the vote on Jerusalem personally. In a tweet, Haley says she will, quote, take names Thursday as ballots are cast on the General Assembly draft resolution.